Buongiorno Bianconero, welcome back to the channel. I'm Alberto. It's January 16th. I've got all this morning's news around Juventus. Okay, we're going to take a look at the latest in the Prisma investigation with a hearing date that's been set. We are going to talk about some Mercato rumblings and Alessandro and this potential automatic renewal. Then, of course, we've got two games as we look to bounce back after what happened against Napoli, and it starts on Thursday in the Coppa Italia against Monza, and then of course we'll face Atalanta on the weekend. We're going to take a look at what the early reports are of some starting lineups for that Monza match, and then see if Dusan Vlahovic and Paul Pogba will get called up for the weekend. Let's get into it. Alright everybody, first things first, like the video, and if you're a diehard Juve fan like myself and everybody at AJC, smash the subscribe button because you are in the right place, alright? We've got you covered when it comes to everything Juventus. Now let's get into it. So, Lich Steiner, we have a birthday to celebrate. Stefan Lich Steiner, the Swiss Express, spent 250 plus games at Juventus, alright? Getting in on 46 goal contributions, 15 goals, 31 assists, and amassing 14 trophies in that time frame. 7 Scudetti, 4 Coppa Italias, and 3 Supercoppas. This guy was awesome to watch for Juventus. He was our pain in the ass player because you could tell everyone on the opposition hated to play against him. The game against Celtic sticks out to me in what a pain in the ass Lichtsteiner could be for opponents, but this guy was an animal, all right? He would die before giving up an inch for the opponents. Loved his time at Juve and what he brought to the team, and it's one jersey I need to add to my collection. I never picked up a Lichtsteiner kit, and I'm gonna start searching for one. All right, so tanti auguri go out to the Swiss Express. Now let's get to the news. So the preliminary hearing has been set for the Prisma investigation. It is March 27th. As of right now, it's been rather quiet from everyone that's the top dogs that kind of cover Juventus, but everybody remains the same, and that's probably just because it's been kicked out 3 times already, and there's not a lot of fear coming from the ones that really cover Juventus. However, you have the flip side, and you have some journalists, and yes, they've been anti-Juve journalists, and they are trying to build up this hype and this intensity and this drama about all these penalties and what could face Juventus. Look, keep calm. Let's wait to see what develops. They have already technically set a precedent based on the fact that this thing has been kicked out a few times already. So I'm feeling pretty confident. There's nothing to panic about or worry about right now, but the hearing's set for March 27th. All right, now let's get to some Mercato talk, and that is that Chris Smalling, if he does not renew with Roma, would become a free agent next summer, and Juve is linked. So are Inter, okay? So Juve keeping tabs on Chris Smalling and if he is going to renew with Roma, all right? Joachim Mele of Atalanta, he is a possible opportunity for Juve to seize, as it seems more and more likely with more and more reports surfacing that he will be leaving Atalanta. That is one Juventus could potentially jump on, all right? Now, as of a couple weeks ago, we heard the rumblings about an automatic renewal and Alex Sandro. Okay, today the criteria has been set that it's 40 appearances apparently to make it an automatic renewal. Alex Sandro currently sits at 19. Now, I would have to bank on the fact that Juventus keeps all decisions in their hands, especially the fact that the board will be voted in on Wednesday. We still have no board technically. We have no management team, and we have no sporting director. So I would imagine that they keep everything the same. And the reports are today that they are going to continue to work in lowering the wages and go to the structure we used to operate in years ago, which was find some unknown talents and whatnot, bank on some lesser known guys, try and build up capital in that manner, and stop making flash signings that are expensive and whatnot. Now, with all this news about this operating style and moving back to that, you'd have to think, and all the uncertainty around Juventus, they keep this in their hands. So do not expect Sandro, if the criteria is 40 games, if it's 35, if it's 30, do not expect Sandro to hit that. I would definitely imagine Juve wants to keep everything, all decisions, in their power and in their control. Okay, now we get to the matches coming up. Monza in the Coppa Italia on Thursday, Atalanta on the weekend, all right? So for Monza, it's being reported that this is who you could see starting. Keane and Chiesa in the attacking roles, all right? Miretti, Fagioli, Sule, and Illing Jr., as well as Gatti and Rugani in the back with Perin in goal. Now, if you ask me, it isn't going to be that. I would probably guess that a couple names are going to be dropped for the sake of balance. And to be honest, I'm fine either way. The young guys have been good when called upon, and I have no fear with them going into this game. The thing is, this has got to be a big bounce back game, so maybe shaking it up and having more guys that didn't actually start in that Napoli thing would be a better thing. They're not shook. They weren't really a part of it, and they'll be raring to go. Guys like Chiesa, I'm not worried about. Keane playing up top. Milik started against Napoli. Roll with Keane and see what happens. Keane's been doing fine as of late, so let's see what happens. But the one thing is for sure, they've got to get the result. I expect semifinals minimum in the Coppa Italia. And I can't wait to hear what you think about that lineup so far. Again, that's only about, what are we talking, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 positions. So, of course, a couple other guys added, but I don't think all those guys are going to play. But how do you feel going into this Monza match? For me, has to be victory. I expect semifinals at least for Coppa Italia. Now, of course, Atalanta on the weekend. Well, Dusan Vlahovic and Paul Pogba took part in group training today. There is still some cautious feelings around Juventus' camp, apparently when it comes to the two players as they look to get back to injury, but there's also some reports stating that they could get the call-up in the weekend's match against Atalanta. If I were a betting man, I would bet on Vlahovic being called up for Atalanta and Paul Pogba the next weekend against Monza, all right? In other injury status reports, Quadrado could be back in the fold for the Monza match in Coppa Italia. And then, of course, Caio Jorge set to join Juve Next Gen in February. When it comes to De Sciglio and Bonucci, they could be available for the weekend against Atalanta as well, all right? So that is your news break to January 16th, Juventini. Okay, you know the drill. Like the video. And again, if you're a diehard Juve fan like myself and everybody at AJC, hit that subscribe button because this is the channel for you, I promise. Now, everybody else, you know the drill. Drop your comments, questions, thoughts, opinions on everything you just heard today in the comment section of this video. I will be back tomorrow and the following day getting you built up, caught up, and in the loop on all the news. And then, of course, on Thursday for the Coppa Italia, we are going to have a match day live as we get ready for that one. And we'll tackle all the build-up and look at the projected lineups and discuss that one. And then Friday, post-match podcast. And then, of course, we're going to get ready for Atalanta on the weekend. Till next time, Forza Juve, fino alla fine. Ciao.